You work hard. You try to save. But every time you look at your bank account, it feels like you're just running in place. You get a raise, and before you know it, your expenses have somehow magically swelled to meet it. What if I told you that you're not actually bad with money? What if the real issue is that your brain is running on ancient survival software that quietly sabotages your financial decisions? It's a program that evolved for a world that no longer exists, and it's happening without you even realizing it. This isn't about willpower. It's about your wiring. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible mental traps. These traps keep you feeling stuck, and I'll show you how to start rewiring your brain for wealth. To understand why so many of us struggle, we have to go back to what our brains were originally built for. They weren't designed to manage a 401k or compare credit card rates. They were designed for one primary purpose: to survive in a world of immediate, life-or-death scarcity. Picture our ancestors. The world was about finding the next meal, avoiding a predator, and making it through the night. Their brains became masters of short-term, urgent problem-solving. When they stumbled upon a berry bush, the smart move was to eat all the berries right then and there. There was no saving for retirement because the future was a complete unknown. The present moment was everything. And that's the core of the problem. We are walking around with Stone Age brains trying to navigate digital banking and long-term investments. That ancient software, the part of your brain that screams, "I want it now," is still trying to run the show. It's constantly fighting a battle with your logical, modern mind that knows you should be saving. Your brain isn't broken. It's just working from an instruction manual that's dangerously out of date. It's programmed to prioritize immediate reward over long-term prosperity because for most of human history, that was the right call. But today, that same instinct can lead to debt, anxiety, and the feeling that you're perpetually behind. So how does this ancient programming trip you up today? It lays three main mental traps that we fall into almost every day. Trap number 1, the dopamine trap present bias. Have you ever felt that little rush when you click add to cart? That's not just in your head, it's a chemical reaction. When you get something new, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, the pleasure molecule. It creates a powerful present bias, where we overwhelmingly prefer a small reward now over a much larger reward in the future. Saving money for a goal 20 years away gives you zero immediate dopamine. Buying a new pair of shoes gives you an instant hit. Guess which one your survival brain prefers? You've probably heard of the famous Stanford marshmallow test. Kids were offered one marshmallow now or two if they could wait. For years, this was seen as a simple test of willpower. But newer research shows that a child's environment and whether they trust the person promising the reward is a huge factor. It turns out, it's not just about raw self-control. It's about whether your brain believes that waiting for a better future is actually a safe bet. Every time you choose an impulse buy over an investment, your brain is simply choosing the immediate, guaranteed reward it has been programmed to seek for millennia. Trap number 2, the scarcity loop and the cognitive tax. Now here's the cruelest part of the cycle. The very act of worrying about money makes you worse at managing it. It's crucial to acknowledge that this cycle begins with real-world pressures like systemic factors and a lack of resources, not personal failings. Researchers found that the constant stress of poverty imposes a massive cognitive load on the brain. When your mind is always occupied with juggling bills and worrying about rent, your mental bandwidth gets consumed. Think of your brain like a computer with way too many programs running. Everything slows down. Research has shown that this mental strain has an effect on cognitive performance, with one study finding a drop in scores equivalent to what you'd see from losing 13 IQ points. The scarcity mindset forces you into tunnel vision where you can only focus on the most immediate problem. It depletes the very skills you need to escape the cycle: long-term planning, impulse control, and creative problem-solving. This creates a devastating feedback loop. Financial stress leads to short-term decisions, which then create even more financial stress. Trap number 3, the emotional spending vortex. Finally, we have the most relatable trap, emotional spending. Our financial decisions are rarely as logical as we think. Most of the time, they're emotional. When you're stressed, you buy something for comfort. When you're celebrating, you spend to make the good feeling last. When you're bored, you scroll through shopping apps for a quick distraction. According to a 2023 Lending Tree survey, a stunning 69% of Americans admit that their emotions have influenced their spending. These actions are often driven by money scripts, unconscious beliefs about money we picked up as kids. If your family splurged to celebrate, you probably do too. If money was a source of constant stress, you might avoid even looking at your bank account. The problem is, emotions make for terrible financial advisors. Stress, excitement, and happiness are the top 3 emotions that trigger spending. For many, this leads to a cycle of regret, with another Lending Tree survey finding that 71% of emotional spenders have felt guilty after a mood-driven purchase. So let's just pause for a second. If you're seeing yourself in any of these traps the dopamine chasing, the mental fog of stress, the emotional purchases, and you're having a bit of an aha moment, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're about to go from understanding the why to learning the how. Because seeing the problem is the first step. Taking back control is the next. Section 3. How to rewire your brain, the solution. All right, now that you can see the invisible programming, you can start to write new code. You don't need more willpower. You need a better system, one that works with your brain's instincts, not against them. Here are 3 practical strategies to start upgrading to your wealth software. Strategy 1. Automate your future self. The single most effective way to beat your brain's present bias is to take the decision out of its hands. You do this with automation. The moment you get paid, set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings or investment account. This is the modern version of paying yourself first. By doing this, you make the right long-term choice once and works for you forever. Your survival brain never even gets a chance to see that money, so it can't be tempted by an immediate dopamine hit. Automation is like making a pact with your future self. You use your logical mind today to protect your wealth from your impulsive mind tomorrow. Automate your savings, your retirement contributions, your debt payments. Make financial responsibility the default, lazy option. Strategy 2. Make the future real and emotional. Your brain's obsession with the present comes from its struggle to connect with a vague, abstract future. Retirement is just a word. You have to make it real. Take some time to vividly imagine your future self. What does your life actually look like in 10 or 20 years if you succeed? Where do you live? What does an average day feel like? Write it down. Find pictures that represent it. When you do this, you're creating a future that your brain can form an emotional connection to. You're giving it a new, more meaningful prize to chase. You can also do this with numbers. Don't just save $100. Use a compound interest calculator and see that your $100 today could become over $700 in 30 years. You're not giving up $100 now, you're choosing to receive $700 later. This reframes the choice, making a long-term reward feel more concrete. Strategy 3. The abundance reframe and the 72-hour rule. To fight the scarcity mindset and emotional spending, you need to create 2 things, a new perspective and a little bit of friction. First, the reframe. When you see something you can't afford, the scarcity mindset says, I can't have that. It's a dead end. An abundance mindset asks a different question. How can I afford that? This simple twist opens up possibilities. It forces your brain to problem solve, to think about earning more, finding a better deal, or making a plan. It shifts you from being a passive victim of your circumstances to an active creator of your life. Second, create friction for emotional buys. Adopt a mandatory 72-hour waiting period for any non-essential purchase over a set amount, like $50. If you see something you want, add it to the cart or write it down, but don't buy it. After 3 days, the initial dopamine rush will have faded, and your logical brain will have a chance to step in and ask, do I really need this? Does this actually align with my goals? More often than not, the urge will have passed. For years, you might have believed that your financial struggles were a character flaw, that you were undisciplined or just bad with money. But that isn't the truth. Your financial situation isn't a measure of your worth. It's often the result of your wiring. You aren't broken. You're just running outdated software. You've been up against an ancient survival program that doesn't understand our complex world. But the good news is, you can install an upgrade. While these individual strategies are powerful, they are one part of a larger picture. Research also shows that broader, systemic supports and policies that reduce financial stress are critical for helping everyone build a more secure future. By automating your finances, making the future feel real, and building systems to outsmart your impulses, you can begin to rewrite your own financial code. So here is your first step. Look back at the last month. Find just one purchase that was driven purely by an emotion, stress, boredom, excitement. Now think about how you could automate a better choice in its place or apply the 72-hour rule to that type of spending going forward. Just start there. You have the power to take back the controls. It begins not with earning more, but with thinking differently. If this video made you rethink your relationship with money, subscribe to the channel for more strategies to master your financial psychology and let me know. In the comments, which one of these mental traps do you recognize most in your own life?